it's Alex with the Salt and Light Realty, and today I'm here with Efren to talk all about surveys. So, can you introduce yourself and share a bit about your background and experience in property surveying?
Okay, my name is Efren Santos. I've been doing surveying in Guam since the late 70s, and I'm still active. And I'm a registered surveyor in Guam. I originally came from Manila, came here back in '72, and I've been working as a surveyor ever since. Yes.
Wow! So you started your job surveying in Manila, in the Philippines?
No, in here as a
Here?
surveyor.
Oh.
I have a degree in engineering, but it's a different engineering. It's more on the metallurgical engineering part. When I came to Guam, I started working as a draftsman for a civil engineering company, but they don't have they have too many draftsmen there. So following day, I was given a machete and asked me to join the survey crew, and from then on, I became a surveyor.
Wow. So you weren't expecting to get into surveying?
No. And since it's a new challenge for me, I bought some surveying books and attended special courses at University of Guam that teaches civil engineering technology. And so somehow I was able to be able to do some surveying work. And I was employed with an engineering company for like 7 years. Then I took the exam, and when I passed, I started on my own back in 1979.
Wow.
Yes.
So since 1979, you've just been your own boss?
On my own, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Now my clients are all my bosses.
So you really didn't have a plan to start surveying, you just kind of fell into it?
Yeah. But it's somehow it's a blessing because that's one profession that has not attracted a lot of people, and in fact that's our biggest problem nowadays, the lack of qualified surveyors. Yes.
So you must be real busy.
Yes, very busy, especially with the advent of that military buildup on Guam. That's the bulk of our work are now military-related works.
Okay. But you still help property owners,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Or buyers or
We
sellers?
do, yeah. We never shy away from property surveys as requested, yes.
Okay, cool. We're going to talk about understanding property surveys. So can you explain what a property survey is and why it's important to home owners and buyers?
Okay. It's more of course, for the buyers. They have to make sure that the property they're buying is the right property, the right measurement, and also some underlying conditions of the property. Is it on a steep slope, or is there any encroachment from the neighbor, and is there any other things like wetland and all that, or any other easements that are not obvious to them, but then it is recorded that there's like a utility easement that crosses the property. All those things have to be known by the buyer before they close their transactions. Yes. And we are responsible for providing this information. Yeah.
Yeah, that way they can make an informed decision, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what are the main types of property surveys and how do they differ?
Okay, there's so many different types of surveys. Property surveys, obviously, is a property that has a definition. It's a meets and bounds, we call it, and the area is as recorded. We will find out if the area is computed is actual area, and we'll also we're sort of like investigators. We'll investigate if the points that are being claimed are still there, or are they on the right position? And then once we measure that and confirm the property where it's supposed to be, we note it down, and then we create a map. Normally for a sale, all they need is a sketch map if the property is registered at land management already and has a map recorded. We follow that when we create a new sketch certified by me and submit it to the buyers and the escrow company. Yes.
Okay. Is it possible for a buyer to purchase either a sketch or also to have you just locate the points physically on the land?
Yes, it depends on their requirement. Obviously, if they just wanted to physically look at the points and see if they're satisfied without us providing them a sketch, it's a much lesser cost for them. But I would suggest that a sketch map be provided for them, so it will be part of their transactions. The escrow company will have a copy of that. It will be in their file. In case there's any conflict in the future, we could go back to that sketch that we provided. Yes. There's not too many controversy in the property surveys on Guam, but there are cases wherein there will be an overlap, and also the result that we provide, sometimes the next door neighbor wouldn't agree, and that could pose a problem. They might protest that, and the best thing for them to if they are going to contest a survey done by a registered surveyor, they have to hire another registered surveyor to see if what we did is correct. If that other surveyor shows a different result that doesn't agree with ours, then we have to discuss that and mitigate that problem.
So is it common too that if there's an existing survey map, that when you go to survey it, maybe there's like some sort of discrepancy?
A few, things like a few inches, those things are understandable because every survey is not the same. The weather condition is different. It affects the instrument. We only use instruments that we rely on for its accuracy. But those like a couple of inches, that we find that are not agreeing. So we kind of sort of resolve that problem, on itself.
So the surveying process, can you walk us through the typical process of conducting a property survey?
Okay. Normally, it's through a phone call from here in Practicing Guam, or an email from the agent, mostly the selling agent. And then they will tell us that we will be closing in a couple of weeks, if we could do it within that time frame. And if we think we do, we will say yes. And then we will give them a proposal when in writing. And when it gets accepted in writing, we will conduct the survey. First thing we need is we need a recorded map at land management. Most of the time, if we have one in our file, we'll just go ahead and do it. But when there are times that we don't have the file, we ask them if they could provide us the map to make sure that we are talking about the right lot. And if the agent has a copy that they could provide us, we will use that. And then, to make sure that we're on the right track, we also get copies of the surrounding lots. That if it's not included on the map that they provide us, we go to land management and get copies of the map surrounding it to make sure that when we do that, we're not encroaching. Because what we do once we did one property and the next door is about 100 feet away, and we check that, we measure if there's a point that confirm to us that, hey, we're actually just exactly away, exactly 100 feet from that property. And in that part of the property, we know we're right. And so we go to the east side or the west side and check that everything, that if we can do that, yeah. But most of the time, we try to check that property next door. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So you're making sure that your survey map is real accurate.
Yes,
also
yes,
based on
yeah,
the
yeah.
adjacent.
Yeah,
property.
within the acceptable condition, yes.
Okay. So, okay, you already answered the next question. What information and documentation do you need from the property owners or buyers before starting a surveyor? You would definitely need like the legal description and a map if they have
Yes,
it, right?
yeah, yeah. And make sure that those that are requesting us are either the owners make sure, or the representative of the owners, because there are times we go to a property, the property is being rented out to another people that doesn't know that it's being surveyed. They'll chase us away. What are you doing here? You know, I'm renting this place. You cannot do it without my permission. So we want to make sure the owner, if they are having the place rented out, tell the tenant, hey,
Give
some
them
surveyors are
notice.
going to survey.
Oh man. Do you ever have any issues too with like maybe somebody's dog there?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If they have mean dogs, we call them back, and we can't continue unless you secure the place for our crew. Yes, yes.
How about like wild pigs?
Oh, we find that, yeah, we find that. But most of the time, wild pigs
They run
they
away.
run away. Yeah.
Okay. So, what are some common issues or findings that you encountered during a property survey?
The encroachments, like the next door neighbor's building is encroaching to their property. That's one
Or like
red
their
flag.
back kitchen?
Yes, yeah,
Or their
yeah,
carport
yeah.
extension?
Yeah, or our client itself has encroached to the next door property. But we note all of that down. We draw it, we sketch it, and so once we're done, if a property has a building on it, like a house, we measure the setbacks of the house, because there are minimum setback requirements, as you know, being an agent.
For
Front,
the different property
right,
types,
right, right.
depending which zone.
Right. If it's on R1 or R2, the front shouldn't be closer than, it should be 15 feet, and the back is 10 feet, and both sides are 8
feet.
Yes. Yeah, that's standard. That's for R1 and R2, but different for commercial, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you find that setback issues are common here? in
Ew,
Guam?
very common. What happens is some houses that have been bought, the owners tend to put extensions. Yeah, that's where the problem starts. Yeah.
So if you are a homeowner and you want to build an extension of any type, or make any modifications basically to the perimeter of your existing structure, right? Do you recommend they contact a surveyor first to just make sure that it's good to go?
Yeah, if it's already been surveyed, the markers are there, and the owner wants to put up an extension, all they have to do is consult an architect or an engineer to draw the plan, and also submit a building plan to Public Works. Gone are the days that you can just put an extension without any building permit.
Yeah.
Anything that you put in now has to have a building permit. Yeah. And so from there, they will have, Public Works will have an inspector. They will find out, hey, your design makes your house too close to the minimum setback requirements. Maybe you have to cut it down. Or maybe if you want to put something, not an extension, make it not an enclosed property, because they have different structures. If it's not enclosed, then it wouldn't be subjected to that minimum setback requirements.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you still need the Department of Public Works to approve, even if you're just going to put like a butler tin roof?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah. That goes to the architects and engineers. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you determine property boundaries, and why is it important to have them accurately established?
Well, for that same reason, to make sure that the property they're buying is really where it is supposed to be, and make sure that it lies on a safe place wherein there is no wetland. There are also properties like close to the beach, wherein they might have an archaeological finds. That's a big problem. If there's a skeletal remains in there, that's a big problem.
It really
It will
gets
delayed,
right?
you need an archaeologist presence. And also, if the property falls on a wetland, there are restrictions on what you could do. You cannot build anything in the wetland. If the wetland happens to be right smack in the middle of the property they bought, they won't have a chance of putting up some building. Yeah.
So, and then you typically find those like remains if you're surveying a property?
No. Will be suspect. Most of the time, of course, during the olden times, people don't have a digging tools to bury their dead. So the beach side is a favorite of during the olden times, where people buried their dead.
And plus, that's where they settled, right?
Yeah,
so
yes. Yeah.
Close to where they lived.
Yeah, but us surveyors wouldn't be able to know because we only rely on the visible thing. And so I'm sure if it's a property where there's suspect, it'll probably be known to some of the experts, like the archaeologists. They somehow know the general area where archaeological finds could be existing, yes.
Okay. I've even heard some instances where there's like this snail that's endangered.
Yes.
And have you come across that?
Yes, yeah.
And how long does that take to
Well,
clear it up?
then we need the scientists again. Scientists will mark it, and from their marking, we will determine where they marked it. Just like in wetland properties, there are environmentalists that are expert in wetland determination. We're not. They are the ones who will determine if a place is actually wetland. They will mark it. They'll mark it, and then we'll follow them. And what they mark, we will determine, put it in a map. And so we will be able to determine the extent or the area of that wetland property. Yeah.
What should homeowners do if there is a dispute or confusion about property lines?
Good question. They need a lawyer. A lawyer, of course, will be able to help them. Yeah.
So would you first talk to the surveyor that the neighbor hired, and
Yes.
before it gets to a lawyer, or
No, before it gets to the lawyer, yes.
you try to kind of resolve it?
Right.
first?
Yeah. Most of the time is like that. Because, of course, obviously, hiring a lawyer right away becomes so expensive. Yeah.
Okay. So if they still can't come to an agreement with their two surveyors, then they go to a lawyer.
Yes, yeah. And then possible court hearing then. Yeah, I hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the impact of survey findings. how do survey findings affect the value or sale of a property?
How it affects the property, like what I mentioned, the undulation or the topography of the property. And I'm not an appraiser, but of course the location is the most important thing. Like I said, the undulation, they call it the topography, if it's plain enough, not expensive to put up a house, yeah, that will increase the value of a property.
Can survey results impact the buyer's decision to proceed with the purchase?
Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah. It's a must, actually. Even if it's sometimes a property has just been resold and has been surveyed like a year or so ago, and here comes, and the points are still visible, and then they sold it to a different person. I recommend it be resurveyed, because there are times that we never know. Somebody pull it
They
and
just move it.
and then move it,
and make it seem like it's bigger.
Yes,
a
yes.
bigger property,
Yeah.
and then that's when you'll probably run into more issues with
Correct,
encroachments or setbacks because you think it's there.
Yes.
That's the point, and it's not.
Yeah. There are times that there are instances like that. It's hard for us to explain to them why they still need to have it redone. Yeah.
It's just in the buyer's best interest, right? To
Yes,
make
yes.
absolutely sure that everything's as stated.
Yes, yes.
Okay. What advice do you have for home sellers and buyers to prepare for a property survey?
Okay, first of all, make sure that they are hiring a certified surveyor. Of course, one of the best things is ask the agents or brokers around who they normally use, what surveyors they are comfortable working with.
Yeah, who they trust.
Yeah, who they trust. Yeah, the surveyor that you trust, you will feel comfortable. Of course, surveyors are not perfect. They might make mistakes. But the thing about surveying is when a mistake is done, we go back and correct it. Yeah.
Okay. So just to make sure so the advice is just to make sure that they're hiring a licensed surveyor.
Licensed surveyor with
that they trust.
Yeah.
Okay. So are there any common pitfalls they should avoid?
Yeah, one of the pitfalls is hiring people that will tell them that they are legitimate surveyors, because some of them would come to you and mention a name of a registered surveyor that they work for. In actuality, they don't. They'll just and then the poor registered surveyor didn't know that their names was being used.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's why it's good to have a sketch map prepared by that surveyor with the surveyor's signature. Yeah.
Wow. And then maybe too, like the quote, right, should have the actual company
Correct.
name.
Yeah.
Address, all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so unique considerations in Guam. Are there any unique factors or challenges related to property surveying here in Guam?
There's a few, like what we have discussed, some unique situation. There are times when a property that they sold did not know that there was like a water line across the property, because during the olden times, some utilities like water line, drainage line crossed through some properties, because it was like bare land before, and then eventually it got subdivided and all that. That same water line that was used to access properties far away could be underneath a new property owners, and then that should be a concern. Yeah.
So like utility easement.
or utility easement. Some of them don't have the easement. They're just existing.
They just do it.
Yeah, yeah.
They
During
just put the
yeah,
water line
yeah,
or the power
you-
pole.
yeah. In it, most of the time it happens with people trying to get a water connection from if they're living quite far from the highway, and then they'll just
Yeah.
ask a 2-inch line go to the property, and the property they're going through is their family members, so that's fine during that time. But then, if this
They
property get
sell it.
resold,
Yeah.
then the water line still exists.
Yeah.
I have that experience in Sinanya, and the owner, I said, I didn't know, I wouldn't know, but a good thing the pipe broke and start gushing into their
Oh.
property. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the common problems here in Guam is that, whatever, like the locals that have, let's say, like a family compound, like let's say their parents had a big plot of land and then they subdivided it for their children. And so here's all these children thinking, oh yeah, this is our family compound. It's okay. That's just my brother's land. Like it's
Yes.
fine if I put my carport a little bit too close to the property line or,
Yes.
over, and it's fine. And they never think that they're going to move. But then now we're seeing that people are relocating, and especially like maybe their children, right?
Yeah.
The siblings' children, they're wanting to leave off island. They
Yes.
don't want to live in Guam anymore. So then now when they're trying to sell the property, they have all these issues because they thought they
Hey,
were going
that's
to live
very
there
common.
forever,
That's
right?
very common. That's very common
Yeah.
scenario.
And it's really because they just think that,
Yeah.
oh, it's just my family and we're
Right,
going to
right.
live here and be a happy family forever.
Right. Yeah.
Is that, you think that's the most common
That's the most common. Yeah.
issue
yeah.
here?
Yes.
Okay. So how does the local environment or regulatory landscape affect surveying practices?
Well, like I said, the undulation, that's all, and then wetland, all that, and is it close to the river and all that, or is it sometimes there's a dry riverbed.
Oh,
And
and
then
when
only-
it's dry season,
Yeah,
and
it's
then when
okay,
it
yeah.
starts raining,
Yeah.
there's a river all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, final thoughts. Do you have any final tips or advice for our viewers regarding property surveys?
Mapping, though, it's a little bit more expensive, and it takes time for a map to be approved by land management. It's you talking about months.
Wow.
If you're closing within 3 weeks or a couple of months is still too short. Sometimes a map stays at land management for review for quite some time.
Oh no.
Yes.
Do you have a friend there to move it along?
Well,
Can't say.
yeah. See, that's our problem.
Yeah.
We're the enemies of land management.
Yeah. You're giving
Nor
them
of-
more work to
Yeah,
do,
yeah,
right?
Plus, they want to make sure that we're doing it the way they wanted it be done.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So then basically your advice too is to just get that survey, like order it as soon as possible to
Yes.
prevent any delays in
Correct,
the
yeah.
transaction,
Yeah.
especially if we need land management to approve it.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, and especially if you have a quick closing, yeah, that is right away. And also tell the surveyor, hey, we are closing in 2 weeks. At least we know we have that window.
Yeah.
Because of the influx of right now, we have so much traffic, because of not only because there are there's a lot of military work, is because we're dwindling in numbers. Yeah, I can
With the
count.
availability
Yeah,
of
in my
surveyors.
fingers, I could count the number of surveyors available.
Oh,
Yeah, that's. It will be very difficult to accommodate all of them if we, if a closing is within a week or two,
yeah.
because there's some properties that the buyer wants to close right away. They really like the property,
And
and
if it's a cash buyer,
Yeah,
they
yes.
can definitely close in just a matter of weeks.
yes, yes.
If our viewers would like to get in touch with you, and if they have any questions or need a survey, how can they contact you?
Okay, my number
Yeah.
is, my office number is 671-632-1767. And my cell number is 671-898-0060. And my email address is ebsantos, E as in Echo, B as in Bravo, Santos, _survey@yahoo.com.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll add that too in the description so that they can easily find it
Yes,
and
yeah.
copy and paste it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to leave our viewers with?
Well, yes. Just tell the viewers or the prospective buyers to make sure, I'm going to repeat it again and again, that they are hiring a surveyor that is registered, surveyors licensed to do the practice here in Guam.
Okay.
That's all, yes.
And Efren definitely is.
I'm one of those.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome.
It was a real pleasure talking with you about surveys.
Same here, yes.
And I think we were adding a lot of value to some potential buyers out there. So thank you for all the work you do.
You're welcome.
And I hope to work with you soon.
All right, yes.
Okay,